our second episode of Let's Drink and Talk About Legion. And today is very exciting because we are live on YouTube for the first time. I've brought everybody in, all of Exiled Power. Well, not all of us, but most of us that you care about are here with us tonight. So let's go around the horn. Let's introduce one another and let's talk about what we're going to do tonight.
All right, what's up, guys? My name is Sang. I'm the token demon hunter of Exiled Power. I'm also one of the officers of the guild. I'm also the native Texan of the group, so naturally I am drinking some Texas sweet tea tonight and looking forward to talking about all things Legion.
What's up, guys? My name is Daenall. I am the resto druid of the raid team, and I'm drinking some coffee with Bailey's. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to just be talking about anything, to be honest. So,
I am Pronate, and I like to party. I am the arms warrior in Exiled Power, and I am drinking some Yingling stacked into my Yeti cup in Southern Pride fashion. So,
All right, I am Alyce, and I am one of the priests on the team. I'm now playing Shadow, and tonight I'm drinking mango rum and orange juice, and it's delicious.
Go ahead, Kelso. I already introduced myself.
God damn. Okay. Here I was waiting. So my name is Kelso. For better or for worse, I am the only enhancement shaman on the team, but the only shaman that matters in everybody's heart. So, I'm drinking gin and tonic tonight.
Oh, nice. I want a gin and tonic. Shit. I'm
Come
drinking pumpkin
Bartender.
spice Bailey's, so you can take my
Oh,
man
my
card
God.
away right now.
ooh, I'm drinking normal Bailey's, not pumpkin
Oh,
spice.
I know.
Cody is a
It's
undercover
PSL
basic
season.
white girl.
It's so basic.
Hey now.
He's also wearing Ugg boots.
You can't see him, but I am.
I
All right,
know.
guys. So we're talking about 7.1. We're talking about 7.1.5. We're talking about 7.2. We're talking about everything. A lot of content that came out in 7.1. But let's take a step back first. Let's take a step back at what Exiled Power is doing right now. So we're still progressing through Mythic Emerald Nightmare. We are 4 of 7 Mythic. We're about to kill Il'gynoth. We were so close on Thursday. But I'm really interested. Let's just go around the horn again in the same order. What boss do you like about Emerald Nightmare? What boss do you not like about Emerald Nightmare? What do you like in general? Like, how did they approach this first raid, and did they hit their mark?
I guess that's me then. I don't know if there's really a boss that I'm like absolutely crazy about in Emerald Nightmare. I'm not the biggest fan of dragons because I'm in a portal group, and so I literally spend 90% of the fight in portals. And if the whole raid screws up outside, I die, even though it's not my fault. So every time we wipe, I blame you guys. But I mean,
So rude.
even though like I'm not crazy about any boss like in particular, obviously we haven't done Mythic Xavius or Cenarius yet. I think those might be fun. I think they did a good job with Emerald Nightmare as just kind of like an intro to what to expect for the expansion, to kind of help you transition back into raiding. A lot of people took a lot of time off. And overall, like, I mean, I'm more satisfied with it as an introductory raid than I was High Mall. So, I mean, that's just me personally on that.
No, I'd agree with you on that one. This is a lot better than Heimel. I'm agreed. I think my favorite boss so far has to be Ursoc, just because I can't overheal on it. And for the smallest fraction of a time, I was like top healer on the server for it, and I got past easily. But so I enjoy that one. But I think my least favorite has to be Dragons too, because if like one person messes up, it can go south real quick. Whereas some other fights are a little bit more lenient with it. So
I don't know, man. It's a tough call for me. I definitely agree with the fact that it's a good introductory raid of what's to come in Legion. It was a nice little change up whenever they removed the range radars, so people are getting used to that again. So that'll be fun to look forward to in the future, the Emerald Nightmare. Or not Emerald, but Nighthold. And if I had to pick a boss, I would probably go with Ursoc as well, just because it's relatively simple. You get to smack stuff and
Hit bear.
do good damage.
hit bear.
Hit bear.
Thinking face.
So for favorite boss, I was gonna say Ursoc, but everybody else said that. So,
Get creative, guys.
I
Ursoc
actually-
is such a tank and spank. Come on.
That's why it's our favorite.
I
You
do
don't have to
like-
think all that much.
Ursoc is both specs actually, but I think Nith is actually kind of interesting. Even though I suck at it, I die a lot on that fight, and I know it. But it's. I mean, there's a lot of personal responsibility, but then also as a group, so it kind of, forces you to not fuck up. But at the same time, if one person messes up, it's not gonna wipe the raid. Least favorite, I am hating Il'gynoth so much.
Really?
I just
Why?
it's
Probably because we've gone with the Lust and Zerg the Eye strategy. It's kind of frustrating.
I tend to not like ad fights, and yeah, I don't really like it.
I think Exiled Power as a whole doesn't like ad fights.
I'm a demon hunter. I love ad fights. They're the only fights I get to excel at.
Kelso, what about
Fight's
you?
a fight to me.
So I'm gonna break the ice here and say that either Dragons or Il'gynoth right now are currently my
Yeah.
favorite. Personally, just from I like saying here, am part of one of the portal groups, so I spend most of my time running to and fro, and it's a lot of fun to see both perspectives of the fight. At the same time, it is frustrating when there are groups that outside do things beyond your control and you have to wipe because of them. But there's a lot of stuff going on in that fight where I feel like everybody needs to be on point, and you can't really just power through the mechanics as we are so good at doing. Lust on pull, right, guys?
Lust on the
So
Yeah.
every time.
Bottom lane dream.
No, I'm gonna
Otherwise,
join pub and say we got a lust at
otherwise,
30%.
for real. Otherwise, Il'gynoth is fun because I got my legendary chest, which gives me 10% more damage done if I hit 3 or more targets with Crash Lightning. So having that up pretty much most of the fight is a lot of fun, especially when you get to screw around with the ads and stuff. But it's a fun fight, and certainly looking forward to progress on it. So
Nice. Yeah, I think for me, in terms of like actually playing the fight, I enjoyed Xavius, even though it wasn't that challenging. I just thought it was a cool like atmosphere. It was there were some cool mechanics that I hadn't seen before. I liked it. I don't know how it's going to be on Mythic. From what I can tell, most guilds hit Cenarius Wall, and once they get the Cenarius Wall, they can push past Xavius pretty quickly. But yeah, I don't know. In terms of leading, Dragons is the most frustrating for sure. Because, one, I can't see half of the raid on the other side, and then the mechanics will just absolutely screw you. Like, there's an RNG mechanic to it, there's a timing mechanic to it, and it's kind of almost like Manaroth again, where the more gear you get, the more challenging it is because the timing gets pushed off. Not because the fight's challenging, but because the timing gets pushed, and that's what makes it awkward, I guess you could say. But we're getting there. We're getting there through Emerald Nightmare. But, all right, let's move on. No more Emerald Nightmare. We can come back to that maybe. So, Kara came out in 7.1. Kara was this, like, big dungeon for Blizzard. That it was so hyped that Kara is going to be this really cool thing. A bunch of us, I think all of us in here have done a Nightbane run at this point. A few of us have the mount. What do you guys think about Karazhan? What are the things you like about it? What are the things you don't like about it? You know, where does it fit into our picture as Raiders? Does it fit in at all?
fine. God.
Here we go.
So here we go. I like it. It brings back a lot of memories for me from playing in BC. Was it? And I like the nostalgia feel is great. As far as the bosses, I like them, but I just think that at this point we sort of outgeared already, and it may just be because we've sort of pushed the envelope into Mythic Emerald Nightmare already, and that's not even saying much at this point. But I do think that had they released it sooner, maybe a week or two after, I know it wouldn't have made sense as far as timeline goes, but I just think it's a little too easy. It does take a while if you're not going for like those Nightbane runs where you're speed running through a majority of it. But it's a fun dungeon to run, and if you want to kill an hour and a half of your time, I mean it does a job well, and sometimes the gear is worth it, and if you want to mount, great.
I'll say first and foremost that Nightbane sucks a lot, mainly because I've killed it 3 weeks in a row and bonus rolled and I haven't gotten Jack yet. But I don't know. I mean, I think like even I would consider most of us to be on the higher item level. I mean, I'm 876. I can be 879 with my equipped gear, and like even if we go in with guild groups that don't know what they're doing, like Kara can wreck your shop. Cody knows that after a horrible night with Nightbane.
Just ready to
So-
kill somebody.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
when you consider like it's a mythic dungeon, I mean, it's not a raid, it's not anything like that. It's a mythic dungeon. I think it's kind of a good in between. Say, it's like I think we decided it's probably close to the equivalent of like a mythic plus 7 or 8 or something like that, with like boss health and kind of scaling and stuff. So it's kind of like a nice segue to, I guess, raiding. I think that's what they intend for it to be. But I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy the like old aspect of it that's familiar, and the new aspect they handled really, really well. I think we decided that entire time we were in HFC, they were working on that one portal graphic where you just fall forever. So
Oh, gee,
Um,
that's why we were in HSC for a year, right?
yeah, we finally got our explanation. The mystery's been
Oh
solved.
my god.
But yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. It's good.
Nice.
So
I want to
this
say
dungeon-
that
Sorry,
Go
go ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that I definitely think they got the nostalgia down of it. The thing that they nailed the most was the annoying runbacks from the
Oh my
original
gosh.
Karazhan.
Mhm.
And chess event.
Oh my
Chess
God.
event is still as garbage as it was back when it.
I don't.
No,
I don't think it is as
It's not
bad.
as bad.
Like the original chess was just so prolonged, and this is more of like a kill and go with the whole debuffs, putting it on the king and whatnot, and switching targets. So that's not too bad. But yeah, definitely the runbacks were ridiculous. It's nice to see some of the fights, the new the opera event. Those are cool. Along with fighting Maiden again, getting the debuff and getting melted. What other bosses? Rose was kind of weird. I remember the struggles of whenever that fight first came out. Well, when we first got Nakara back in Burning Crusade, and pretty much if you got garroted and you didn't have a paladin to bop you, you were
You
gonna
were done,
die.
man.
You were
done,
dead.
Zo.
So it was definitely fun to play a lot of those mechanics. I think they kept those bosses true to what they were, and they did a really good job of scaling those mechanics to the level 110 items that we have. So
Nice. Alice, were you gonna say something?
All right. Yeah. So this dungeon completely made me geek out the first time we ran it, because first of all, the nostalgia, because that was the first raid I ever raided in, was Kara back in BC, and then the second half is the whole Alice in Wonderland thing. So I was like completely, it was
Nice.
terrible.
I forgot it was
So-
a 10-man. I totally forgot until now.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I mean, they nailed it with, like you said, the nostalgia. They nailed it with the first half, and then they put enough differences in that it's still interesting, and you're not just doing the same thing over again.
Yeah, once they flip the script and you get up to that like upside down ness of
Uh-huh.
it, like it's like a nostalgia, but oh, here's a little kicker for you. It's completely different.
And the whole color scheme is
Yeah,
completely different as well.
yeah.
falling through the shrinking portal
Their art team
where you can't open the chest.
again just killed it, knocked it out of the park. The artwork in there is great. I mean, it brings you right back, and if you're interested in that extra challenge, the Nightbane run is really cool. But one of the big things that's coming up in patch 7.2 is that they're actually splitting Kara, adding it to the Mythic Plus list. So that is going to be really interesting. You're going to be able to queue for Kara now. It's not going to be a group thing. As well as Court and Arcway are both getting added to the Mythic Plus list with, and they'll also be queuable. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. They'll be queuable.
I mean, heroic.
Heroic, yes.
Okay.
So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, Kara is great. It was definitely a nice little filler between all the content, but we have to look at what else they released in 7.1, and that's Trials of Valor, which just came out this past Tuesday. So I'm not sure. I've done Trials of Valor. Has anybody else done it in here?
I've done the last boss. I
You did
haven't
the
done
last
anything else.
boss with us. Steve, Nate, did you guys do it?
Haven't
No.
jumped into it yet. Was saving ours for our guild run this Sunday.
Nice. Yeah, so we're
I
running.
was saving my cherry for you.
Oh,
Cody.
hey, thanks.
Oh.
So we're doing Trials of Valor on Sunday, and I have to say I was in a normal group. I wanted to do it on Tuesday. I was home, sick from work, and so Tuesday I was like, all right, screw it. I'm just gonna pop on, see if I can get a pug going for Trials of Valor. And the weird thing about it is Blizzard has said it's supposed to be a continuation of the Emerald Nightmare, right? It's supposed to be the next 3 bosses in the tier, if you will. And you're going to see that with them actually changing the item level. They're actually bumping the item level in there by 5 for each difficulty. So it's going to add a little bit more pressure on guilds to make a decision, like, are we going into Emerald Nightmare? Are we going into Trials of Valor? There's some really good relics. There's some really good trinkets in Trials of Valor. But I will say the difficulty is giving a lot of people problems. Now, saying you did Helya with us, I mean, there's a ton of shit. It just kind of felt like everybody was all over the place. And, you know, obviously it was day 1 of the first week it was out, but it still felt a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the mechanics were definitely all over the place. I mean, I will admit, like, I hadn't researched anything before we went in. And of course, you know, it was normal, so there's like a little bit of cushion. But I mean, I definitely think the item level boost is a good idea because with it being as minor of an upgrade as it was over Emerald Nightmare, like in my opinion, it wasn't worth taking the time to research new fights and get in the new raid. You know, I know for Demon Hunter specifically, like the itemization on the gear isn't like exceptional, so. It's like, okay, you know, why do we motivate ourselves to go do 3 more bosses when the upgrades aren't really there? So I think the item level shift makes it definitely forces you to make that pause and say, okay, do we do this? Do we learn it? It's meant for, like, I mean, I think they said explicitly it's meant for people who are done with Emerald Nightmare. So for me, like, that means you clear Emerald Nightmare and then you go do Trials of Valor. Well, because we have till what, January for Nighthold, so.
That's what they say.
It's kind of how I feel
Yeah.
about it, you know. I mean, because a lot of people are done with Emerald Nightmare at this point. And when I say done, I don't necessarily even mean like 7 out of 7 mythic. Some people might be 7 out of 7 heroic that want to go do, you know, 3 heroic bosses in Trials of Valor before they even step into mythic. You know, that might be their segue into mythic Emerald Nightmare, is they get some nice upgrades from heroic Trials of Valor. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
We're definitely going to see the difficulty tomorrow being in heroic. Like even on normal, I mean, I'm in the same boat as you in terms of eye level. I'm 876 equipped, and normal kicked our ass. And I mean, once we got each mechanic, it was like, oh, okay, this is pretty straightforward. And it's always that learning curve. But like Odin on paper is a joke. It really is. And Guarm even more so. Guarm is a joke on paper. It's a pure DPS and like, are you with it? Check. Helya, I feel like was in a totally different kind of realm. Helya is definitely meant to be a little bit tougher, but I almost felt like Guarm and Odin's difficulty should have been switched because the Guarm mechanics were literally like, can you avoid a charge, and then can you assign people to stand in a certain color? Like you guys will see tomorrow how simple that fight is, and we figured out after a couple pulls how to make that work, and that's, you know, how it always goes. But to do it with a pug, you know, on day 1 felt pretty good. Granted, we were taking people that were all above 865, 870, so we were pretty specific about it. But really excited to get into Trials of Valor. Obviously, it's going to help us gear towards Nighthold, which is the next big raid coming up. But, all right, let's pivot here, guys. One of the videos on our channel that has been doing really well is all about legendaries. Legendaries. Everybody
Triggered.
wants to hate on them. Everybody wants to talk them. Everybody wants one, the one that they want, not a Safuzu's Secret or some shit, you know, rip plan, because our mage in our guild has 3 terrible legendaries. I mean, it's just so depressing. So one thing that came out today was that on Tuesday there's going to be a hot fix, I guess you could say, or a little buff to legendaries. 15 item level points, 15 points going into all legendaries across the board. What does this solve? Does this solve anything?
Pick me,
I
please.
pick Kelso
please.
right there on the bottom right.
It solves 0. For the people
Oh,
that
nice.
got rings and necks and other various sorts of jewelry, which AKA means none other rings and necks, it literally solves 0 because no main stat. No main stat means like the benefit if their legendary ring or legendary neck piece gave either the worst stats or one decent stat, one terrible stat, and nothing else, like Sifuz or Pride as or whatever other
Sifuz.
garbage shit. Like it's more of like a tease or just a slap in the face than anything else. Fortunately enough for us that have gotten pieces that maybe they're not the best legendary for our particular class, but they have a main stat on there. It's like, okay, 15 item levels. Well, all right, so the equipped effect isn't the best, but you're getting more of an upgrade from the increased stats than you may benefit from the effect. And I think that's where you sort of draw the line. And I know Blizzard has said something about tweaking the jewelry's secondary stat increases per item level or whatever, and they were kind of tweaking it to make it more in line with lower item level gear has less stats versus higher item level gears, because if you sort of look at the jewelry, there's not a lot of variance between like an 850 versus an 880 piece of gear. It could be within like 100 points of secondary stats, and realistically, like that's not a lot for somebody to freak out about. But if there was a main stat on there, it would be significant enough to have them upgrade. So, it's sort of one of those things where like I feel really bad for the people that have had terrible RNG with their with their legendaries, but
Or lack thereof.
or lack
me.
thereof. Right. Like some people haven't even gotten their second legendary. Shit, it took me, I don't even know, 8-9 days played before I even got my first legendary, and then like 1 or 2 more days played after that I got my second. So I have 2 right now, where some people who've played 15, 16 days, like Sang, you've played a significant bit more than me, I think, and you only have 1 right now. So I mean, it's the RNG aspect of it is terrible. But for those of us who have been on the good side of it, yeah, I mean, we're definitely benefiting from it to a certain degree, depending on which pieces of legendary items you've gotten this far.
Anybody
This
else?
I would
point-
say. I would
Everybody
just
wants
say.
to
So
chime
I'm gonna say one sentence and then I'm done. Because like I mean, obviously I've got 1 legendary. I've got 13, almost 14 days played time. I have a buddy who's been 110 for like a week, and he just got his second today on his second Mythic Plus ever. I mean, it's RNG, whatever.
It's
Some people have
unreal.
good luck, bad luck. I mean, the biggest issue I think most people were having in legendaries was like, if you get like a Pridas, there's not a lot of excitement in that. And I don't think a fix of your Pridas is now 910 instead of 895 is going to reduce the disappointment of that, And obviously, they said they're adding more legendaries and things like that. The item level boost is nice, but like we already knew it was coming, because like legendaries have to stay relevant the whole expansion, so we knew the item level was going to get boosted. So personally, I hope they have more plan to make kind of the less exciting legendaries better. And I'm not saying like I mean we know like mechanics matter, utility is extremely important, so utility legendaries are good. But you can't deny like they're less exciting. So I hope they have something planned to make them a little bit more appealing, even still, than just they're 910 now. I mean that's cool, that's great. What else?
I think they did say in one of the dev interviews, I think it might have been with Sloot, that they were saying that they were going to be reworking some of the less desired legendaries to make them more desirable.
Yeah.
To piggyback on what Steve was saying about the whole jewelry thing, yeah, the whole no main stat on them is really shitty. Coming from someone who, yes, I do have 2 legendaries, so I can't complain too much, but
What
I
a
have a Pride
dick.
As. I have Pride As, which is a
Rub it
piece of
in.
jewelry, the neck, and then I actually lucked out and got the one of the top 2 legendary rings for arms, which is the ring.
Nice.
And those 2 pieces of jewelry are really going to be like no stat increase or no utility increase come the 910 jump. Now, like Sang was saying, it's definitely going to be an increase because as we move forward in rank content, these got to stay relevant. And I think this is just in preparation for Nighthold. They're like, okay, Nighthold's coming. Here's your bump in your legendaries for what you're going to have for that. So,
Yeah, the
yeah,
legendary
it's
jewelry, it kind of depends, and this is y'all are hinting at this. It kind of depends more what they have planned for their they keep saying they're going to fix secondary stats. The question kind of lies more in with that than it does the item level upgrade, because some of these don't have great stats. So I think the legendary fix and the secondary stat fix are both they're connected in my opinion. Like they're very tied together.
I think
yeah.
legendaries are just going to be that thing throughout this entire expansion that is like a hot button issue until you have 4 legendaries and you can pick out of the 3, that are actually decent because everybody's going to get one shitty one at some point, and then hopefully you get 2 or 3 that are somewhat good. It's just an interesting system. Like they wanted legendaries to come back so bad, and it's all RNG based. And if you look at any of the comments on the videos that we've done on legendaries, I mean that's what it comes down to. It's totally RNG. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can control. What works in your favor, and the numbers have proven this, is you do the things that you can repeat, and you have a higher chance. But the only reason you have a higher chance is because they're repeatable. They're daily, like your daily emissaries. There's a higher chance from that because if you can do them every day, things like that. Raid bosses, pretty low percentage from raid bosses. We've had some decent luck. We had a string on our Sunday alt run where we had 3 weeks in a row, I think, that we got a legendary off of Ursoc. I think all for people
Which
that
is
weren't
even
in our
more
guild.
more
It's
frustrating.
yeah.
He's
my,
the catch up
my
mechanic.
my Pride As was from Ursoc.
There
So.
we go. So we can blame Ursoc for your shitty DPS. Oh, too soon? But you hit the
It's a
bear.
low
So
Hit
blow,
me
well.
already.
man.
You hit the
Yeah, I
bear.
know. It's the bear hit me tonight. We did a little heroic guild run, and
Oh,
actually,
the bear shit on us tonight.
oh
Is
my
what
gosh.
actually happened.
So I had godlike procs. I was like sustaining over 500k DPS a good
7,
minute.
Nate, it was like 750k you were
Yeah,
doing, and
a
then
good
just got
minute and a
fucking
half into the
wrecked.
fight, and then I was like freaking out because I was getting so many procs. I just completely no-brained, get hit by the second charge, and I was just like, my pars.
Oh no.
I
You would have been
I
number
got,
1 in
I
the
got
world,
Hells
Nate.
immediately
would
after
have.
that.
It would have.
Like, fuck, dude, I was gonna be number 1.
Oh, number 1 in our hearts,
My
Nate.
God.
Number 1 in our hearts.
Oh man.
All right, so let's talk about some of the more miniature things, I guess you could say, the lesser known things that got added in 7.1. We don't have to spend too much time on it. One of the things that happened that I'm really excited about, being somebody that works with Alyce and Sang and whoever else, I think I've worked with all of you at some point on this, but like the Blood Trader. The Blood Trader came out in 7.1, which really, in my opinion, stabilized the economy. And I know the economy is a boring topic to talk about, but we went into Legion with $1.25 million gold, which isn't that much. We were really starting to bring it in, and then we stopped. We turned off repairs and things like that, and we just hemorrhaged cash, paying for mats, paying for herbs, paying for everything. It was crazy. And then 7.1
And
comes
we
out,
didn't even
and we didn't even what?
we didn't do potions.
And we
It
didn't do
was just
potions.
flasks.
We were just doing flasks and food, and we hemorrhaged cash like it was nobody's business. But now that the Blood Trader's out, what do you guys think? I mean, Alyce, you and I, and Daenall, you and me, we kind of work the most in that realm because we're doing Vantis runes and we're doing flasks, and I'm doing food and things like that. What do you guys think? Do you think that was a good addition to the game? I mean, I personally think it should have been in at launch.
Hell yeah, it's a good addition.
Yeah.
The amount
Yeah.
of herbs it takes to make us like Vantis runes for the entire raid is insane, and we were using them all for flasks and stuff. So to also use them for Vantage Runes was kind of like a side grade at that point. So now that we have the ability to do that, it's so much better. So much better.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
it's yeah.
I mean, the flasks alone take a lot of mats. And touching on that, I've been making all of the guild flasks since we started and still have 0 rank 3 recipes, which is ridiculous.
Oof.
Tell him, Alice. Tell him, Alice.
You're
Tell him.
clearly
Tell him.
just a
Preach.
bad player. You're
Apparently,
really
I'm
bad at
just
the game.
terrible at RNG since I also have the shittiest legendary I could. But,
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
no, it's terrible. That's a lot of flasks, and I've also been making them on the side and trying to sell them just to try to get rank 3s and
Are you
losing gold
kidding
because
me?
they
You've
sell
been
for less.
making them on the side.
She's stealing from the guild. Banner.
Side.
I'm not stealing from the
My
guild.
God. Red flag.
Jesus.
Her
No.
account has
I'll
been
I'm
be
trying
flagged.
to get rank 3. It's terrible.
Yeah. I mean,
One
I,
thing I
I'll
will
back
say
up
about
Alice
this-
here
this
because
blood
I've been
trader-
going to her.
He keeps giving me
Sorry.
mats for
Shut
pots,
out.
and I can't get his either. It's bad. It's a terrible system.
Giving her mats for 40 potions of the old war, like every week for 40 crafts, and like it's been what 3 weeks now, and have yet to proc her rank 3 for old war yet.
rip. Oh my god.
I got
Damn.
him. Mana
better.
pods and healing potions.
Oh, those
So,
are.
so
those
I
are
will
good.
say that like the
Like
blood
Brent.
trader has been a phenomenal
Tonight?
phenomenal
Drink.
addition to the game. But the one minor issue that is absolutely enormous is the
Here
fact
it
that you
comes.
cannot purchase like quantities of an item. You cannot like shift
Yeah.
click, and that is huge.
Wait. You can if you get an add-on.
No, you cannot
Yeah,
because I
you
have
can.
that add.
No, I
Add-ons
do it.
ruin the game.
I do it all the time. Forget what it's called. I'm gonna look it up right now. You keep talking.
I thought you were about to
There's
air
no
horn
need
when
for
you
me
were
to keep
saying,
talking
wait.
if there's a way to
thought so
rectify
too.
this.
Oh.
There's the whole like macro you can make too to like buy like the 14th item, and you can just click it and spam it. It doesn't have to do like the OK or cancel button.
Yeah, I know, but like,
Yeah.
why does an add-on need to be created? Why does a macro need to exist in order to have something that should just be an innate feature to the game?
Oh, I
In an
totally
I think
agree.
we're
Blizz is all
think-
about confirming things this expansion. You have to confirm your trade. You have to confirm the trader. You have to confirm that you got a shit legendary. I mean, like you have to confirm everything. Like that's just how it works. I don't know.
Shit, why can't I find
right-
it?
like right now. There's a huge
So I
influx
have buy
of
'em
all
all,
of the blood of
and it does
Sargeras.
not-
I'm sorry, Nate. Kelso so rudely interrupted you.
All right, I'm talking over everybody too. So, right now there's like a huge influx of all the blood of Sargeras, and I think that's what it is. Like once everybody spends down and actually doesn't have a stockpile of them anymore, you'll only be buying like 5 or 10 of them a week. I mean, you look at your world quests on a day-to-day basis, you only have like what 10 blood of Sargeras you can actually farm for. The others are just through your random crafts or your random collections and stuff like that. So I think this nice influx of materials and the drop in price really is beneficial to us, but I think we're going to see a resurge in the economy once everybody spends all their massive stockpile amounts of Blood of Sargeras. I know that I'm almost out of them. I've only got like 100 left on my warrior, so
It's definitely going to hit the flask market, I think. One thing that I think will stabilize is potions. I mean, you talk maxers, if you want to still keep using potions of the old war, things like that, those are going to remain floated. I think those are going to remain high. Potions of prolonged. Come
Put it
on,
down
stream.
there.
You can do it. Hold on.
He posted a screenshot of his like up and down speeds, and they were like 950 megabytes per second each.
All right.
We're
hey,
back.
Hey, we're back, I
We're
think.
streaming.
I think we're back.
Oh shit! Woo, baby.
Hold on.
I keep
No,
refreshing.
stream
Keep
complete.
saying
Why does it
offline.
keep doing this?
Just like turning off the stream at random.
The stream has been completely shit on, is what it's trying to say.
I
We had
don't
too
get
many
it.
people trying to view it. We had thousands.
No, that's not even true.
Do we? Wait, what is this gonna do to the like archiving it?
I
It's
don't
just gonna
know.
split it up into like 12 different sections.
Hopefully.
Are we gonna have to redo the video? Because if it like cut out part of what we're saying, then
Hold on.
Yeah,
Prince,
I
we haven't
forgot
really
what I was
talked about
saying,
anything
so
of substance.
Hold on.
since,
I'm trying. It's going back. It's going back. Give it a second. I think I figured it out.
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
I'm gonna tweet out. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
Yeah, please do.
Oh,
To,
so,
to all
we're
of
back, we're
our
back.
22
First,
followers.
first time for everything.
Sorry for the.
happening.
I'm still staring at this thing. That's probably like
It says
20
we're back.
seconds. Oh, we're good.
We're back.
Yes.
back.
All right, we're back, guys. Sorry about that.
Back
If anybody is watching, I don't think anybody's watching at this moment except for Kia. So we'll just
Hey, I'm there.
hey Daenall. We'll just kind of refresh here.
Really
Daenall
watching
took
yourself,
his hat
Daenall?
off, so
I-
I had to take mine off.
Oh,
Yeah, I took mine hot because it was
It
starting
was-
to get like really warm in my room.
This is gonna
Yeah.
be the worst archive video of all time.
Hurt my
Sang.
It's gonna be
head.
like 12 archive videos.
Jesus.
It'll be okay.
What?
Negative Nancy over there.
God, I'll tell
We got
you.
5 watching. We're live.
Do we have 5? I see that we have 1.
He has set it's up. He sent me a private message.
Oh,
I think it's pub.
My WoW is frozen, but I can talk to people.
That's fun.
Everything is frozen. He said the stream is good at the moment.
all right. Take it down and fix the mix. Am I still not fixed? I'm so pissed.
We can hear you like normally. Like
Yeah.
you're coming in through surround sound on
I
my
think
mic. I don't know if it's like your feed into YouTube that's making it the mono.
I don't know.
But he
Yeah,
has mono.
let's-
That's what I
Let's get
figured
back
out.
to talking about Legion.
All right, let's keep drinking and talking about Legion.
We
All right.
apologize for the technical difficulties. Steve is
We're back.
now way more intoxicated
was-
than he thought he was gonna be.
As expected,
We're
it was
back.
the shaman's fault. So there you go.
It's always
What?
the shaman's fault.
All right, let's
Always
ease,
blame the shamans.
let's ease back in with.
Always
We're gonna
blame
do a
the
vote
shaman.
right here, guys. I want a hand vote. Who here has used the action camera? since
Shaman
it's
for
back-
president.
Shut your damn mouth. Who has used the
I
action
used it to
camera?
take a screenshot.
Anyone?
What is Action Cam? I don't even know what that is.
No.
Action cam?
Action.
Oh.
Wait, they
you want
put
to
it
know what
back
action
in?
cam looks like for
Removed
healing?
it from the game.
No, they put it back in 7.1. I tried it for
It's
like
back.
5 minutes. It was terrible.
I'm
It's
sure
back like
action
the
cam for
stream.
healing would be super cool to watch. You get
I
to see me just
tried
stand
it.
there and go like this.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I mean, I
tried
played
it at
first
one point,
person,
and it
so
made
I
me
don't
so
really know the
nauseous.
difference.
It's terrible.
Some of it made you nauseous.
Yeah,
Really?
I tried playing it at one point. Yeah.
It
Maybe
kept
not.
I
going.
play
like-
first person action cam, and it's the most amazing experience ever.
First person action cam. Does it change
Yeah.
because you're first person?
I don't know. That was a
You-
joke.
You don't even.
Where
know
do
what you're
I
talking
where
about.
do I turn it on right now? I want to turn on Action Cam. I
Oh,
need
it's
more
like
action.
it's in the
Command.
interface, I think, or is it still
Like
scripted?
interface and something.
I think
or
it's still a script. I don't think they.
other. No, you can. I thought it was a checkbox. You check
oh,
on
is
or
it? Oh, I'm in game. I could just check.
I'm in game too, but I can't turn it on.
I'm giving the stream 100% of my attention, so
Steve,
It
and you know
is
what? We
not.
appreciate that. You
It's
also
not in the
Thank
you.
options.
you
Let's
also
see your,
look
Flash
like you just
Action Cam.
you kind of just look like you came off the boat from Russia though. Like look like you have a track jacket on. You got the chest hair coming out. Yeah, I think
You have the
YouTube's gonna
matching
flag
track
this.
band?
The gold chain.
All right, we're back. The drinking has set in, folks.
We're
so.
Oh, God.
And so if
Die.
you want to get off the roller coaster, you might as well get off it right
The
now.
stream's
No,
back.
keep
We're
on
live.
the road.
All right, so let's talk about something that I know we've all done. Some more than others.
like this the rest of the episode.
Oh my god, don't do that. All right, so
Oh.
let's
Vladimir Putin.
let's talk about Mythic Plus dungeons. So
Mythic Plus.
Mythic
Sorry.
Mythic Plus was added in Legion as a side-along, a parallel, if you will, to raiding. And I know everybody in here, Kelso, you've done a ton of them. I think the 4 of you guys have done a ton of them. I myself just don't have the time to do them. So I'm finding that there are a lot of upgrades for me in raid. I wish I could get into the Mythic Pluses, but like, what do you guys think of that system as a whole? Is the Mythic Plus system on point? What needs to change? What needs to be adjusted to make that system keep being successful?
I wish there was a way to get lower keystones for the start of the week. I think I was talking to somebody about this earlier, and it was I don't know. It would be nice to start a little bit lower so that you can do a couple before you reach that limit, rather than trying to pug and carry somebody.
So you're saying like if at the end of the week you ended up getting to like a 10 or an 11, and then your keystone's going to be a 6 or a 7, it just limits
Right.
you.
Or have an option at least.
Right. Now,
There is a way to do that, Alyce. All you got to do is not do them for a week, like me.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey-o!
And also, it does take a lot of time. Like, I don't have a lot of time for it. It sucks because I really enjoy doing them, but it's hard to get a group that wants to start at, I end up doing like up to like a 7 usually, where I'd like to push higher. I just don't have the time to do that.
Right. Right.
I just think it's so tough because a lot of it depends on that week's affixes versus your class. And so, like, historically speaking, for an enhancement shaman, for example, our overall AoE situation is very lacking from, like, a Mythic Plus perspective. My situation's a little different. I have the legendary boots and I have the legendary chest, which means like I can AoE a little bit better. I can AoE a little bit
Good for
better
you.
more often than other people who may not have that same situation. And so my single target is also fairly decent. So like I enjoy doing Mythic Pluses, but for a class that can't AoE and single target very well. Like first comes to mind is Warlock, because I've been running
Shadow
with
Priest.
Shadow Priest too, but I've been running a lot with the Warlock recently, and he either has to spec for single target or he has to spec for AoE, and it's tough. Like when you have some of these dungeons, like let's say Halls of Valor, which has a significant amount of trash. But, if you have Tyrannical that week, like, your single target has to be on point, too. Where do you draw that line? And it's like, if you bring a Warlock with you, you're indirectly gimping yourself from the very beginning, and you have to sort of make up that difference either on the trash or you have to make up that difference on the bosses. So it's tough from that perspective, but it's a lot of fun if you're willing to dedicate the time. And, like, I usually use, like, 1 day a week as a couple hours to running some Mythic Plus, and I have fun doing it. It's very enjoyable if you can find a good group to do it.
What are some of the affixes that you guys like and the affixes that you don't like?
I love Volcanic because it doesn't target melee.
What is Volcanic? For some of the people that may be watching that don't know what the affixes are.
Puts a volcano under you and it explodes.
Under ranged DPS or healers.
But doesn't impact melee. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Unless range you're standing in melee, then it just sort of fucks everybody.
I'm gonna stand on you
horrible time.
all the time.
I mean, for me, like the affixes are fine. I mean, they're interesting. I think they're talking about adding some more in the future. In general, like I'm all for the system because I think it finds its strength in really any level of playstyle. Like for us, we raid 2 days a week, and so that means we have several nights a week that you can spam Mythic Plus. You can do low level and kind of knock them out, or you can work your way up and get really high item level gear from Mythic Plus. And so if you're not having good luck in raids, you can get more gear. Or like if you're a hardcore raider, you raid 4 or 5 days a week, but you've already cleared your way up to say Mythic Plus 11, 12, 13, you might only have to do 1 or 2 a week, and you're there. You don't have to spend a lot of time on it. Or if you like aren't very experienced at the game, you can just spam some low level ones and like you're good, you're done. So
well, our friend Drew Hutchin here said Sanguine is a bitch. Do we agree with that statement?
Is that the one where they drop like the blood pools under there?
Yeah. It depends on like how invested you are in that run versus how awake you are, what time of the night it is. Like if your tank's on point, it shouldn't really make that much of a difference.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people don't even notice that one when it's up.
We
I don't
were
know
just
about
talking,
you guys, but
I don't
I
notice
just heard
overflowing.
Cody say "Sang is a bitch." That's all that I heard.
I mean,
I didn't hear the
Oh,
"Sang."
great.
I heard
Thanks, man.
"Sang."
I heard Sang only has one legendary.
Yeah, I
Oh.
only have one legendary. It sucks.
But yeah, quick piggyback onto the whole Mythic Plus thing. It definitely brings that whole challenge mode feel back to the game. It's nice to run them real fast and not have to loot anything, and then you get your loot at the end. So pretty fun. But I definitely think this is starting to turn into one of those uh, niche groups, optimal comps. Lower levels, not so much, but once you get into the higher, like the 10 plus, like you really have to think about what kind of comp you're going to bring in with what affixes you have for that week in order to do well and actually progress into your Mythic plus
for sure.
Keystone.
All right, so we are going to move on to 7.2. What Blizzard has talked about, what Blizzard has released at BlizzCon, some of the teases that they've given in their Q&As and their developer panels and things like that. The first thing is we'll start small. We'll start with some of the things that are coming that aren't really not that big a deal, but may get people excited. And the first thing is the Brawlers Guild. It's coming back. It's coming back with a vengeance. And a new feature in the Brawlers Guild is Rumbles. And Rumbles are they're bosses, right? They're bosses that pull everybody that's queued up for a brawl into the arena. It's going to be kind of like a world boss. It's shared loot, things like that. I mean, what does this add to the game? Is this adding anything valuable to the game, or is it just another system for people to have a good time with?
I think it's another system for people to have a good time with. I mean, the original Brawlers Guild was just to like, hey, I can do mechanics better than you can because I've completed all these. But I've always enjoyed them. It was always fun going through in both Miss Pandaria and Warlords of Draenor. So I'm excited to see what they have in store.
Yeah. New mount coming out with it as well, the Basilisk mount. That's at least what people are speculating is going to come out with that. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I did a video on 7.2 and some of the things coming up where I show the Basilisk mount, so check that out. It looks cool. It kind of looks like a Crocolisk, if you will, but it's cool. I mean, mounts are always a good reason for people to get in there and do content.
Is the rock
Is it cool?
Basilisk?
It's all right. It's cool looking.
It looks like a turd.
All right, Sang. Shit on my dreams. No pun intended.
I would just like to. I see Drew in the chat has asked a question. If we could think of additional new affixes that could be added to the game, what would we like to see put in? So I would like to bring that into this discussion. I know we're talking about the Brawlers Guild, but I think that's a really good question. So let's just,
I got nothing. I don't do them enough to know what, like...
I actually have an idea.
Hit us.
Now that you
Brace
thought about
yourself.
that. It's
Blizz,
kind of
listen
like,
up.
okay, so it's for healers, but it's kind of like overflowing, but instead of putting an absorb on the party or whoever you're healing, make it actually heal the mobs or the boss when you overheal.
That's kind of cool.
That's interesting.
I think they should put an affix in where if you only have one legendary, you do more damage.
Oh my
Great.
Oh, you know what I just thought of, which might be
That would
cool?
help me out a lot.
How about something like that, like linked, so that your entire 5-man group is linked, like with the chains from Ellereth, and the further you're constantly taking damage, but if you're close, you don't take that much damage. But as soon as you start to move further away, you start taking pulsing damage.
Random
Oh man, that would be
chains, that could
terrible.
I mean, I feel like the motivation for the affixes comes from Diablo, right? And
Mhm.
so, I mean, there are a lot of cool things I think they did in Diablo they could easily throw up, like, the rotating, like, beams that randomly spawn, I mean, different things like that, basically turn into, like, a mini Mario game or whatever. I'm not familiar with what all the Diablo kind of
Oh,
random
man.
mechanics are, but, I mean, there's a ton of them, right?
I mean, you've got fire chains, you've got plagued, you've got the arcane, which is the swirly arcane ones you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, all three of those would just be almost horrible. I mean, plagued is almost kind of like, what is it, the sanguine, the one that drops up the blood pools. That's kind of
Yeah.
similar because
Mm-hmm.
you can just dodge those. But I think like adding extra mechanics into the fights, like giving everything in the instance an extra cast, like something you have to interrupt, and if you don't interrupt it, like buffs everyone. So adding extra interrupts could be something to play on. But yeah, definitely the Diablo fixes are something to
Yeah, I mean,
play off
I
of.
was thinking like the arcane one. That would be a tough one for melee in particular. If you got those popping up, or just another one that kind of randomly popped in my mind. This might be a game changer. It might not. Like, I guess you would probably maybe have to incorporate it with Nate's. Bosses have interrupt armor on a wild start, so to like interrupt a spell, you have to like interrupt twice to break their armor,
Oh,
and
yeah, I
then
remember
interrupt
that
the
shit.
spell. you know. And so if anybody doesn't use their interrupt, you're gonna die basically. So I mean, even something like that makes you pay more attention to what they're casting and stuff.
That was brutal. Honestly, I mean, you talk about keeping people honest. Like, Wildstar did that such a great way, kept people honest. But what if
Mhm.
there was another one? I was thinking of another one called like Shattered or something like that, where randomly, like I don't know how it would work, like periodically, randomly, whatever, your DPS would get sent into like an altered time, and they'd have to kill like a copy of themselves before joining the group. So you'd basically be like in a penalty box. You'd be down a man for a short period of time.
Oh, so it's like that nerd. What was his freaking name? And
Getting
Shadow
polymorphed in
Moon
Eye of
Valley
Ashura.
or whatever that boss is, or whatever, where you go into that alternate world and you kill your copy, and like you go ahead and you kill the other people's copy and whatever,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
you
yeah.
come
But
back.
you just have to get in there. You kill your copy, and then you can join your
Yeah.
team again. But that'd be crazy because you'd be down a DPS, potentially some utility. Um, that'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah, that would be nuts.
I have the best one.
I was also
Just thought
thinking
of
of
it.
potentially. Oh my gosh. No, Eye of Iskar makes that terrible. But I was potentially thinking of like, what happens if there's like a chance by hitting the boss you like lose control of your character, like you either get feared for X amount of time or you get charmed for X amount of time, and like the other players in the group have to uncharm you or do X amount of damage to you to break you from that charm. Like that's, to me, that's the worst. As a DPS, you're there like beating on a boss, you're tunneling him hard, whatever, even a group of mobs, and the one thing you don't want to do is like pull the other mob that's just sitting right next to you, and lo and behold, what happens? You hit the boss, you automatically get charmed or feared, and like now it's up to your group to break you before you pull more, or you die, or kill the rest of the group. I think that would be a pain in the balls.
That would be crazy.
I have the best one I just came up with. This is ridiculous, but you guys familiar with what static cling is?
Oh
Like-
God.
Like the
God.
scientific concept. Yeah.
No.
No,
That's
like
one
You
where
mean
you have
from
to
the
like
boss in
Like from Vortex
to jump
Pinnacle
the
or whatever the
debuff
fuck.
that
it-
one.
Oh my gosh.
like
That's a
have
terrible
not
idea.
like a permanent one because you still have to cast, but like to have it randomly on a person, like have to jump and then like after you do your 3 or 4 jumps, then it jumps to another person. So pretty
Oh
much
my
someone has to be
God.
jumping the entire time during the instance. How fun would that be?
That sounds awful, dude.
That,
It sounds
that's like
amazing.
the first boss of Court of Stars.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I just thought of two that might be kind of interesting. So if anybody rated in vanilla, if you did Nefarian, he had class specific things that he did. So like whenever he called on warriors, like you went into berserker stance, and like you had, I mean, obviously like tanks were in berserker stance, taking more damage, and so like even like some random like class specific things, like each class has a different thing they like can't do like well at all. That would be kind of interesting. Obviously that would make it like really hard if some classes you just might not want to bring to Mythic Plus that week. Another one, I don't even know if it's possible. I was thinking it would just be kind of cool / would require communication. Is if like 2 people in the group had like their spells swapped for like 30 seconds at a time. So
Oh,
like
that'd be
your
nuts.
a DPS became like your healer, or like another DPS. Like you had a demon hunter that's running around, and all of a sudden you've got like fire mage spells, and you have to
Oh
cast
God,
for 30
yo,
seconds.
give me Demon Hunter double jump, please, and I will get the fuck
Yeah.
out there real quick.
That'd be kind of cool though, like you're playing, it's like, oh well, all of a sudden now I'm playing a boomkin. Like, what do I do? What spells do I cast?
Yeah.
That'd be cool
Starfire,
Oh,
Star Surge.
all the time.
That's nuts. That'd be fun. They should probably open up to the community and see what people can come up with. That'd be really cool to see some user generated fixes coming into the next patch or two, because they're just going to keep adding affixes. It's a great way to keep it refreshed and things like that.
Blizzard, we're talking to you.
That's
Talk
right.
to the community.
Start paying attention to us, Blizzard.
God
give
damn
us
it.
beta
jump
keys.
while we're doing our mythic pluses.
I want a beta.
I want a
Oh
beta
my
key right
God.
now.
I'm still bitter.
So, little inside joke for anybody that's watching. So we started this YouTube channel kind of towards the end of HFC in Warlords of Draenor, and we were vying really hard for beta keys, and we were just doing everything that we could possibly do to get one. Like third-party websites, asking friends, whatever we could do. And I
Selling
think
our
at the end of the
bodies.
day, like 3 of us got beta keys.
Yeah.
It was
3 of
all-
our 20+
it was
roster for
awful.
Mythic.
I would just like to say I performed so many
I'm sorry.
fellatios.
Here it
Stop.
is.
Oh my
There they
God.
are.
Enough of
And
that.
now we have to rate this video for adult audiences only. Great. Thank you,
Great.
Steve.
18 plus.
All right, so let's get back into the content here, guys. One thing that we haven't talked about yet, it's not a raid thing, but it definitely is going to impact the world itself, is that flying is coming back in patch 7.2. Now, let me give you my initial thoughts on this before we dive right in. Let me give you my initial thoughts. So, 7.2 flying. I think that they did an amazing job with the Flight Master whistle. I thought that was the exact touch the game needed to make it still feel like it's a big world, but yet I was still able to access the whole world. I still have to, ride a couple places, but the lack of flying doesn't hinder me. All right, that's it. That's all I got. What do you guys think?
Sorry,
No?
we're trying to figure out where Daenall is. We're
Oh,
talking
I think he doesn't feel good.
Oh.
Did he drink too much?
Maybe.
Irish coffee will do that to you, man.
I-
It's like you want to stay up and you want to go to sleep. You want to stay up. You want to go to sleep. You know?
I think they've done a better job making the what's it called? Like the achievements unlock flying happen in stages. So like we have stage 1 of it right now, and if you've been playing the game even semi-regularly, like you're done with stage 1 of unlocking
Not
the
quite.
Flight Master.
I'm lazy.
Much. I mean, most of it happens pretty passively. Like if you're doing Suramar, if you're doing just your normal routine, like you're gonna get part 1 unlocked. So I think that's nice because it all coming at one time. It's kind of like, oh man, I've got to do this grind to get them out. Like now it's just kind of like play the game. I mean, just do what you're gonna do. But I don't feel like I'm missing anything. It'll be nice when it's there, but not necessary.
Anybody else have some strong feelings about flying?
I think
Glad it's
that
coming back.
well, yes, I agree. I'm glad it's coming back, but I think it's coming back a little too early. I think how they did it in
Uh-oh.
Warlords of Draenor, like it was pretty good because like we won a majority of the expansion without it, and then like the fact that they added it in towards the end was somewhat rewarding. That now you could fly and experience the world.
It did come out pretty late.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like they should do that too this way because, like yes, flying would be great, but you're absolutely right, Cody. They did a great job with the Flight Master whistle, and like, there's hardly ever a time where I'm doing a world quest and I'm thinking to myself, well, wow, it would be great if I could just fly there. Like I've just become so accustomed and so used to the way to travel in Legion that like I finish a world quest and Flight Master whistle away, and that's just kind of the path that you take. And I like it. Like I would love to see in 6 months, 8 months from now, whatever, them introducing flying and that sort of aspect of opening up the game. But right now I think it's a little soon. It's only like 3 months into the expansion,
Yeah, definitely a little soon. I'm sorry, guys. I just totally screwed up the stream by typing to you guys to tell you to shut up.
You broke it.
I broke everything, but we're back. We're good. All right, let's keep going on. So one big thing that's coming, this is going to make Raiders really happy, I think, is that they're expanding the artifacts. And this is the first big expansion of the artifacts that we're going to be seeing in the game. So 7.2 is implementing a few things. 15 new trait points with 1 new gold trait and some utility traits, as well as the addition of adding another point into your 3-point traits. So you can add a 4th point into those, and you're also getting a new hybrid relic that impacts 2 different traits. So there's a lot of stuff coming to the artifact weapons, and I think that's going to have a huge impact, especially for the classes that are really dependent on those those specific traits. I mean, for hunters specifically, there really isn't. I mean, yes, the true shot one is great, but it's all about item level for us for the most part. So, but I know there are some classes that are really dependent on a trait, and if it's so Nate's raising his hand here. So if it's a 3 trait that's going bumped up to a 4, I mean, that's going to have some serious impact on output, I think. I really think it is, and I think it's great that they're expanding it, but it's already hard enough to get a point into your traits. I mean, it's just going to get more challenging.
They'll just end up nerfing arms again.
I'm so mad.
Why are you mad? Because you switched?
Well, I've switched twice now, right? So I'm just now catching up my current spec to what I was before, and now they're going to be adding more, so I'm going to be even further behind than I am now.
Well, I mean, so Alyce, actually talk to me about that really quick. So Alyce has switched roles multiple times for the guild because she's a true team player, and now she's playing Shadow and killing it, loving it and hating it. That love-hate relationship that Shadow, a Raider and a Shadow Raider has. But so talk to me about how changing specs, has impacted your rating. I mean, is it really, do you feel like you're behind at any point because of the way the game is built? Do you feel like, there needs to be something to change the catch-up mechanics?
So last week I felt really behind, but that was the first week. I mean, you guys asked me to switch on Wednesday, and then I was Shadow on Thursday, so I had like no time.
You're welcome.
Right? Yeah, thanks for that. So, I mean, Wednesday night I worked on doing mythics to try to get relics for my weapon, because the weapon eye level obviously was complete crap. And then I knew I wasn't going to get enough traits to even be close. But, I mean, over what? It's been... Was that this week? Or that was last week, right?
Was it last
That
week?
was last week. It was last week, yeah.
Let's be honest. You play Shadow. You only need like half of the artifact
Except I don't.
points and whatever.
Because, I mean, what's hard about it is obviously the gear, the trinkets, and the relics. Everything else came over from playing Holy or Disc, whatever. But the catch-up for the actual weapon isn't too bad, but I still feel like I'm behind. Because, I mean, I just put my 26th trait in today, where my Holy weapon was at 25 2 weeks ago. My Disc weapon was at 24 3 or 4 weeks ago. So it's like...
but see, Alyce, that's not terrible because
You're at
What are you going to say, Nate?
I said you're at 26 points already in your Shadow relic?
I was going to say, I'm only at 27
Shadow?
in my MM.
Working hard.
Like, I don't know if I'm just behind. Like, I don't have 3 specs.
Yeah,
like that
you're
to keep up.
behind. I've got 30 in mine.
What?
Right.
I've
Yeah.
been being lazy. I've only got 26 in my arms.
It is. It cost 545,000 artifact power for me to get my next point.
Jeez.
Yeah, there are some
Louise.
people that have, like 30, 25, and 25 in 3 out of their 3 specs, and that to me is just crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
but-
insane.
But what Drew just asked in chat was that, like, would we think that utilizing more garrison resources for artifact knowledge and making it like account wide versus just character wide would be beneficial? Like, let's say we made artifact knowledge like, I think 5,000 garrison resources every 5 days is a little much.
Order hall. Order hall.
Yeah,
resources?
whatever. Garrison, order hall, whatever. Order hall resources. 5,000 I think is a little too much, so maybe like 2,000 or 3,000 would be a bit more doable. But even at 5,000, like I would try and honestly try my hardest to get 5,000 garrison or order hall resources every 5 days, just to have my artifact knowledge at the same level across all of my characters. And I know that like they have catch-up mechanics and everything, but that's one of the reasons why I've taken away from really trying to level an alt right now. Is like I'm so focused on my main, and like I want my main to be as optimal as possible, because at the end of the day, like we're we're rating mains, right? Like we want our mains to be up to snuff, and that's how I feel about it. And so I'm playing my shaman as you know, the majority of the time that I play the game. That I don't feel like devoting other time to alts and things like that until I get extremely bored. But I would totally pay more order hall resources to have an account-wide knowledge, whatever artifact knowledge.
I mean, I think it's definitely an interesting idea for sure. Cody, go ahead.
I would add that, like, I don't know about you guys, but I took off, like, I don't need 5 of my champions doing missions anymore. Most of the missions that I have are not for artifact power. They're usually for armaments or they're for gold. And honestly, like, I took off one of my champions. I put 2 pieces of equipment on her that will give me order hall resources. So every time I do a world quest, I'm getting, I think, 250 order hall resources on top of whatever I get from that world quest, which works out very well for me because, you know, with my order hall being so far advanced, I have all of the boons from that, plus not really needing to send all of them out every day because all of them are 850 already, which that system got completely boned. Like, why are all my champions already full out? I've got a ton of armaments in my bags. It's straight up like WoD all over again. And it's frustrating. It's one of those little details that I feel like Blizzard missed, at least at this point. But I know, and I'm sure you would all agree with me, that I know that my champions, as soon as 7.2 comes out, they're just going to be like, oh, the cap got raised to 900, and then I'm just going to sit here on all my armaments and just boost them up really quick. At least that's what I think is going to happen in my head. But, I mean, I think if you played it smart and your order hall was boosted quite a bit and you have everything kind of researched and whatnot, that you could do a 5,000 order hall. You'd have to stay pretty vigilant.
What I was thinking is, like, if you change that, the only problem is, like, let's say they did that 5,000 and it's account wide. Like, for the people that have a lot of alts, that'd be really nice, but for the people that don't, it's kind of like, okay, you're paying more for the same thing now for your one character.
Right.
But, I mean, I think the idea is really interesting. I mean, you could easily make it where, like, your class hall resources are an account-wide resource, and, like, the cost of the research increases for every character you have at 110. So, like, let's say you have one character at 110, the research is 1,000. If you have 2 characters at 110, the research is 2,000. But, like, their class hall resources are pooled, so you have 2 characters you can farm it on, you know?
And
I think that's interesting for a catch-up mechanic. Because right now, like, I have one other 110, and I literally only log on to it to do his class hall research. Like, I'm not doing anything right now. So,
and
it's
one
not
thing
very
that
exciting.
changed is that, you know, I forget if it was 7.1 where this came out, but the world quests now get unlocked right off the bat once you hit 110. So you're not having to stay in a zone and grind the rep. You're not having to start Suramar. Obviously, you should be, but after doing Suramar once, I honest to God don't want to step in there with an alt because it's a time sink. I mean, I remember watching Kelso do it, and Nate, I think, too, and actually, I think I've watched all of you do it, because I was a little bit behind you guys when the expansion came out, but watching you guys spend hours and hours and hours in Suramar, for what? What the hell did we get out of Suramar other than a lot of artifacts?
Cody. As a DPS, as a fresh 100 DPS class in Suramar, it is the absolute worst experience you could possibly imagine. It's so frustrating. He gets sick from drinking. Is that
I don't think so.
No.
All right, come on, stream, kick back on, baby, so we can wrap this puppy up.
I saw him run out while he was grabbing his.
Excuse me?
Like when Daenall left, like he was like doing the clench walk, like
clench.
Oh God, it just hit me, you know.
It sounds terrible.
It's time to
watching now.
He's the one who's interacting a lot.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I feel like the more we do this, guys, the more people will. Nope, and we're offline again.
We're back.
God,
we're gone
Drew.
again. Dang it.
And we're live again.
We're alive.
And we're back.
And
We're back.
Drew.
Drew, we're here for you, man.
We're here. And you. Shout out.
All right, let's just wrap this bad boy up. This has been our first one. It's been a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. I like this whole live thing. It's definitely a crapshoot, but it's fun.
Yeah.
You're my boy, Drew.
You're my boy, Drew. But yeah, guys. So again, lots of changes coming in patch 7.1, 7.15, and 7.2. So we're gonna keep talking about it. We're gonna keep you guys up to date as best we can on everything possible that we can. We're gonna try and keep you guys up to date. Obviously, there are so many channels out there that we're really happy that you guys are here with us. And yeah, we're gonna wrap this bad boy up. Anybody want to say
No.
anything? Say goodbye.
No.
Yeah, guys, hit us in the comments if we
This
missed
has been a
anything
lot of
that
fun.
you wanted us to talk about. Always enjoyable getting feedback from the community. You guys are awesome. So glad to be here.
All right, guys.
Yeah,
And,
we do this
hang out.
because we want you guys to have something to do, and something to watch. We obviously we do this because we have fun doing it, but at the same time, like, you guys watch our content, mostly Sean's content, to be honest.
I'm sorry. I'm getting up there with my Reddit one. It's getting up there.
Okay, so you guys watch Cody's content every now and again.
Content.
But seriously, yeah, we do it because it's a lot of fun, and Cody likes to edit videos and stuff. But now that we sort of have an idea of how fun this is and how many people want to watch this, it's I think we should do this more often.
Absolutely.
Christopher Wyman, welcome back, man. Be sure you guys rank Kodiak's beard in the comments. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say about his beard.
What the
Yeah, we haven't been able to see it all
By
night
the way,
because the way
I
it
don't
was
know
set
if-
up.
Mug of Mud, check out our live feed, bro. We got it. We got a stream rolling. We got a recording we're gonna post up. You didn't miss anything. You're here, man. We're glad you're here.
No, he missed a ton. That's the whole point. That's why you.
But it's gonna be archived. It's
I
gonna be
know that.
archived.
Oh, all right.
You can watch it then.
Also, I'm pretty
got the
sure
null
we
script in chat.
recorded this,
Shut
yeah?
up.
Is that
This is
Yeah.
archived, so we'll be able to post this, and all of the 9 times this feed actually went out.
yeah?
I hope it didn't
so
record
Mug of Mud.
what we said when it went out.